Hey guys, today we have a bit of a special video on the channel where we've got all of these guys here for an AI mastermind here in Dubai. This was originally a group of independent content creators who were to some degree competitors in the AAA space. And a few months ago, earlier in the start of 2023, I saw an opportunity to turn competitors into allies and now brothers. And we've got them all here flown out to Dubai very spontaneously. Thank you for some good suggestions. And we get to have a bit of a panel today discussing some of the key topics in the AI space that I think many of you looking to start AI businesses can benefit from. And we're all examples of people who have taken the AI opportunity and succeeded with it and changed our lives. And I'd love to hear everyone's opinions and thoughts and learnings so that we can sort of give a bit of that back to you guys. And our goal here is to get as much of that back in the hands of you guys and help you to win and achieve in the space as we have. So before we jump into it, we're going to do a quick round of intros so you know everyone here, starting off with Dave.
Hey guys, my name is Dave Abelard. I'm the founder of Data Lumina and Data Lumina Solutions. Data Lumina is an AI and data education company, and Data Lumina Solutions is our development company. What's going on, guys? My name is Brock Messerich. I'm from the United States. I have an AI automation agency called AI Accelerator. We specialize in building out sales assistants and voice calling agents for businesses.
Hey guys, my name is Bogdan. I run both our agency and we develop advanced AI and automation solutions for businesses.
What's going on, guys? My name is Akil Wade, and I help small business owners make money with AI, and I run a company called Circle AI.
Hey guys, I'm Simon. I founded a company called AIAnswer.us, and we help marketing agencies resell phone calling AI solutions.
Hey guys, my name is Liam Ottley. I'm the founder of Morningside AI, AAA Accelerator, and Agenta.
Hey guys, I'm Mark Kashif. I run Prompt Advisors, an AI consultancy that's for general development with a specific specialization in voice agents.
Hey everyone, my name is Jannis Moore. I run my own AI agency called Integraticus, and we basically focus on voice-based agents for businesses.
Hey guys, my name is Emil Fashan. I'm the founder of OmniFusion AI and AutoIGDM, and we build AI appointment setters for Instagram and do Instagram outreach.
Hey everyone, my name is Sada BC and I'm the CEO and founder of OmniFusion AI and AutoIGDM. In our AI company, we focus on automated outreach and lead generation through Instagram and other social media channels.
Hey everybody, my name is Shaz Matthew. I founded AttractAI.io. We're an AI automation development company. We also help you build a mini personal brand, books and highly qualified sales calls for your B2B offer.
Hey everyone, my name is Ta Elachti. I own Online Global Development and we specialize in chat and voice solutions for construction companies.
All right, so first question I want to open up to, as people watching this are probably interested in seeing similar success as we've had in the AI space, is how can people actually get into AI and start to build businesses? We're all about building businesses here. There's news channels and stuff, but we're focused on building businesses and making money in the AI space. So to start things off, I want to kick over to Dave here, who is an expert when it comes to developers looking to transition into the AI space.
Sure. So I can talk a little bit about that and about my background. So I studied artificial intelligence. I did the bachelor's and the master's degree. So I really took the formal route, had to things. And that's one way to go. But you definitely don't need that to really get into AI. There are various levels of AI that you can already get started with. You don't need to be a full-blown coder. Maybe you don't want to be that. You can dive into low-code, no-code tools. But if you really want to go the development route, I would say your number one priority is learn Python. Get started with that. Try if it's for you, if you like it, if you fall in love with the process of learning about that. I think that is a really good entry point into the world of AI.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to, if anyone wants to jump in on actually getting the experience, because I know with a lot of people in my community, I try to get them to optimize towards, okay, you need that first month or two of learning the actual stuff. Okay, what are these tools? If you're going to be selling solutions, you need to actually understand what the technology is and the kinds of use cases and things that you can build. So has anyone got some good stories or experience and how they got that first 1 to 2 months? For me, it was personally just following my curiosity on YouTube. You guys can go back and look at the earlier videos where I was doing coding tutorials for months, and I would just see something in this AI space that I was interested in. I'd build that out myself, and then I'd force myself to wrap that into some kind of marketing material to grow my personal brand. And then I was able to learn and market myself along the way, which is why I to some degree was able to do it very quickly. So if anyone else has got a recommendation for beginners who are getting started on that first 1 to 3 months where you actually need to learn the basics of getting up to speed.
Yeah. So I have no coding experience whatsoever, but when we found Liam's channel, we just started watching tutorials. Quickly, we decided that I was going to be the one to take on chatbot projects. So what I did is I learned BotPress, then switched to VoiceFlow, built out all kinds of stuff, just experimented around with it, joined Discord. Discord is great, like all the communities for the different platforms. Talk to people there, message people, just have conversations. And that's basically how it started off. And then over time, you just start to get the hang of it, start building cooler stuff, watch more tutorials. and then you can start selling stuff once you get good at that.
But was it a lot of looking at tutorials and then understanding the fundamentals? You might build that particular project and then say, okay, I want to spin this or bend it to, and like add my own stuff onto it. Is that what you're doing most of the time?
I mean, I like watching tutorials, but then I like freestyling it after. So I don't follow through on a 3-hour tutorial and build out exactly that. But it helps me like
wasted all that. I'll stop doing them in future, right?
No, but it helps like getting an understanding of like what's possible with the platform, and then I just like to creatively think about it. But maybe for other people it's different, and it's easier to like follow with a strict tutorial, build out some stuff that way, and then once you have the finished project, then you go in and like twist things around. But for me personally, I just like freestyling the project itself more and getting the knowledge from the tutorial first.
But when you ran into technical problems, this is probably quite common for people. They'll watch a tutorial, they'll run into an issue, and then they'll be like, okay, well, I can't move forward anymore. So who was the guy or girl or resource that you went to get over those hurdles when you needed to?
I mean, Discord is great because you can just search for like whatever error you're getting or like what's not working. So Discord was great. ChatGPT, to be fair, is great. Like if you're doing like basic JavaScript stuff, and when you start to get into that, ChatGPT can write that for you easy. And we have a technical co-founder, so that was a great one too. So if you know someone and you can partner up with them, that's a big help as well, like once you start to get more complex. But with the low-code stuff, like in VoiceFlow, for example, you won't really run into any issue that you can't find the solution for in Discord if you just search for the specific thing that you're struggling with.
And yeah, has anyone got?
Yeah. So actually, to that point, it was like what you brought up is pretty huge, because like the best way to get started in AI is one, just watching everyone's content, right? It's huge. Everyone's also giving out so many resources, so it kind of like will save you months of time. Just go in, download that stuff, because it's been curated through a lot of knowledge. And the communities in that I've seen is who helps each other. Like I've seen so many startups being made from like, for example, my community itself, where people like, hey, we got this idea. Like, oh, you're technical, I do business. And then they get together and then they form something. It's so cool to see that stuff happen.
I just wanted to go to a point that Dave made earlier about learning Python and custom development. If you're starting out, you should make a very conscious decision as to what your plan is moving forward. So if you want to build custom bespoke tools that use the APIs that exist today and the different tools, a couple months of learning Python, even at like a beginner level or rookie level, is super helpful. And using Emil's strategy, which is using the ChatGPT to help you with the answers, there's always a hack for that with LLMs. So even if you're building a brand new tool, you can take that documentation, dump it into a ChatGPT and say, hey, here's the error, go through the documentation, help me learn it. So being aware of at least conceptually what Python is and how it works, or JavaScript, just at a high level to recognize it will help you kind of troubleshoot along the way. And knowing how to code is no longer a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
In a few years, no one will have to code. But if you understand how it works, you'll always have a competitive advantage over everyone, because they'll know how to maybe implement it. But when things go wrong, which they do 99% of the time at one point, they won't know how to fix it or as well as you. So it's just a good foundation to set.
Mm-hmm. And an interesting thing on that is if you're looking to get into content creation, like obviously all of these guys have in here, your content creation, your personal brand is dependent on your unique factor. And if it's, in my case, you saw that I was able to do coding tutorials, and that basically allowed me to escape the competition of the AI YouTube news guys, right? So there was a different pocket of the ecosystem that a different niche that I could occupy. And by having some kind of competitive advantage, whether it's your background, whether it's your prior experiences, etc., that can give you the point of differentiation to be able to succeed where others simply can't even compete. So that's been my experience. If anyone else has had that,
yeah, I got another nice one for that. So if you say you want to find the fastest way of actually learning something, and not just going by the documentation, it's actually taking me on a live project, even if you have no freaking idea about it. I did that many times in the past with website development, which puts you on a lot of stress, but exactly the stress is what makes you successful in the end, because you actually have to put yourself on, dive really deep into the documentation and try to understand it. This way you get like the exact core knowledge that you can then again leverage for other stuff like the YouTube content, etc. So I was doing the same with Bati, like when we made the video. So I needed Bati as a voice integration for my very own product. So I had to learn it myself, right? There was not much around it. And I then just used that knowledge again to pack it up in a nice way, because I had the full understanding. I had the understanding of what the core and what the product actually does. And I could bring it in a very simplistic way to my community. And that is when I created those videos that are more simplistic explanation of what the whole core software does, so that other people have an easier entry point to go into it. which still means that if you want to master it, you need to really dive in yourself.
Yeah, I want to turn it next to getting your first client, because we've all had different experiences with that. Obviously, YouTube and content creation is a big part of that. But I'd like to hear, everyone always has pretty hot takes on different methods. I know Mark's got his own methods as well. So getting your first client, my recommendation is the personal brand route, whether that's going to be building it on LinkedIn and like I said, lining up that learning with marketing. Because a lot of people I've seen in my community who end up failing, they start and they say, okay, I'm going to learn for 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months, I'm going to start my marketing, and now I'm going to start my campaigns. And then, or they've gone that whole time, and then they spend another 3 months after that to identify a product in an area that they want to specialize in, and they pick some random problem that they think they can solve. And then they spend another 3 months building a prototype. And then at the end of that, they then go and try to market it, and no one wants it. So they spent 6 months to do like a whole lot of nothing really, and they're probably really sad and really upset. It really sucks to see people who go that far and then they can't get any interest for it. So my recommendation is to learn and build a personal brand at the same time and document your experience. But I'm open to other suggestions on that. Siddharth?
Yeah, sure. So if you have any experience in any area from other businesses or previous experiences, then I would say it's very helpful if you target that niche first. So if you have been a coach before, or if you worked with coaches before, try to target coaches and see which problem you can solve for them with the use of AI or automation in general. And when it comes to the first clients, the techniques we used, and I would always suggest doing that, is taking up testimonial clients in the beginning, offering your service for free or very, very discounted. So it's a no-brainer for them to jump on board with you, who has no testimonials behind them so far. And then finding out with the client together, like what exactly do they need? What is the results they're awaiting from your product? And how is the way from start to getting those results? And you will build up piece by piece, just talking to those clients. I would advise, depending on what product you build, to have at least 1, 2, or 3 testimonial clients. And it's also very important to build a good rapport with those clients, because in the end, how Alex Hormozi says, this is going to be your cheering fans. So first few clients should not be seen as clients in general, but they should be your fans after all. And if you make good communication and if you are fantastic problem solver for them, they will even forgive any failures in between, or any miscommunication, or any longer period of times when it takes you longer to solve their problem. And also, if they're happy with the result in the end, I'm sure that any of those testimonial clients will bring you at least 2 or 3 new clients, because they love working with you and they're going to tell others about the products and about yourself.
Yeah, and to sort of add on to that, what Siddharth's saying, you have to figure out what people need. And this is actually how I got my first client, is just immersing myself in the space, going on Facebook groups and talking to people with 10 to 15 minutes to just see what their problems are, what their pain points are, what's causing them stress, right? So the last thing you want to do, like Liam was mentioning, is waste a bunch of time, 3 months, on building something that people might not even use. So go and talk to people about their pain points every single day. People love to talk about themselves, and they're pretty open to giving you sauce. So 10 to 15 minutes, go and talk to them, hop on a phone call, just get insights into the industry and where you could actually find a product that makes sense for them, and then start building around that.
Yeah, I always say to optimize towards that market feedback and getting as much, like, you compare a cold email system to content. It's the amount of, there's some metrics you can pin to it, like positive like feedback rate on the amount of time you put in. You can get all technical with it, but basically what is the best input output ratio for, or equation for me putting in my time and getting out feedback that's going to help me get to something that people actually want? Because the whole question mark and the thing with this AI business and agency space is, well, what's the use case? What problem are you solving, and how is AI fixing it? And if you can figure that out, that's money, right? That's you're making an entire business based off that. So the feedback, like Shaz was saying, is to have as many conversations as possible. And I've found personally, and as I'm sure you guys have as well, the personal branding route of getting comments on your YouTube video saying, this is cool, why can you make it do this? I need it to do this. Or even just likes on a LinkedIn post will give you some indication if it's the right target market, or the people who might buy from you, that you're going the right way, and you're getting micro feedback from the market that pushes you towards and iterates towards something that's actually useful. Dave, you got something?
Yeah, sure. So like following up on all of that, one, like I would almost call it a hack, and it's really simple, but just create a single LinkedIn post saying that you're available for the kind of services that you want to offer. It's so simple and so straightforward, but like just letting people know in your network. Now, whenever they get into some kind of a problem, or people talk about AI, either it's at work, whatever, they now think about you, because you let them know that you do something with AI. And if you in the beginning only like focus on outbound and let no one know, people are also not naturally going to find you. And nobody likes to do outbound, I think. And it's the thing is, if you just let people know, things will over time naturally come your way. So I think this is a good like practical tip. Just put it out there.
I would like to add one more thing. In general, to the topic of getting clients and finding your business and target market, I would say it's very important to always have in mind that if you talk to everyone, you basically talk to no one. So I would say niching down and finding the right market, the right audience, is one of the most important factors in your business, especially in the beginning. Because if you niche down, you can offer exactly the service your target audience is searching for. But if you just say, I do all kinds of AI automations, people are going to naturally search someone who already did something in their niche and is very niche specific. So you will have much more success, especially in the beginning, if you niche down to a specific target audience.
It's like that quote, right? Amazon started as a bookstore.
Yeah.
So you have to start small and you keep growing. Exactly.
Yeah. And every little niche every niche that comes to your mind is big enough to make millions. So whatever you might come up with, every niche you can imagine is enough to build a successful 7-8 figure business in the long run. So don't think that any target audience is too small. The world is huge and there's so many people looking for exactly the solution you offer.
And you can attract the niche just like initially you'll need to identify which niche to go into. And you can, as a content creator or as a person, someone who's running a personal brand, you can test niches and test interest by making how to build an e-commerce chatbot that does this, put it on YouTube, see what the interest is. And you can just keep doing that for different industries. It doesn't have to be super complex and deep examples, but you can gauge the interest and test and get feedback from the market in the form of not necessarily comments, but just views on the video as well. So you can do the same thing on LinkedIn where it's like, okay, I'm going to connect with people from five different niches or industries, and then I'm going to start posting content and see who's reaching out to me the most. So niching down is the way to go long term for sure, but getting some data back from the market before you make the jump is really important. So, and I think Mark has a really interesting one on this, and also I wanted him to share his Fiverr strategy because many of you getting started and you don't want to do content creation, Fiverr can be, as Mark has proven, a very lucrative channel.
Yeah, so I'm more on the contrarian side. I'm anti-niche, especially on the Fiverr strategy. But there's a reason for that. So most people, including myself 2 years ago, I didn't know what I want to niche down on. And even today, I still don't want to be niche down because brand new use cases keep coming up that I don't want to be stuck to one industry and want to be nimble. But if you don't want to niche down, like Serdar's advice, but you don't know what to niche down into, posting gigs on Fiverr, even if you don't get orders on Fiverr, when you just get DMs on certain gigs versus others, you'll start being able to have that finger in the air, just to understand where the wind is blowing. So if you say, I will create automated content generation for your business, and you notice that 70% of the people reaching out are marketing agencies, kind of sounds like you should niche down to marketing agencies. If you start vanilla and you let the market tell you or impressions tell you where to go, it at least gives you some form of path versus over-indexing on something from the start that you might not fully understand, and you don't even know if the demand is there yet, because AI manifests differently in different industries. Some are lagging and some are right on top of it. So as an example, marketing is right on it. Whereas if you go to the precious metals industry, oils and gas, they are years behind. I think it'll be 4 or 5 years till we start seeing real use cases there. So understanding and posting on Fiverr to see like what sticks and what doesn't. I've posted almost 100 gigs on Fiverr since I've started 2 years ago, and I only have 5 now because I've got tons of feedback from the market. We do want this. We don't want this. We want to spend $10 for this. We'll spend $5,000 for this. So using that feedback loop is super helpful when you have no idea where to go.
Yeah, if you want to be a real visionary and look well ahead, you got to be moving on that WhatsApp chatbot for the oil and gas industry right now. So got to be moving on that now. That's a little bit of sauce for you guys. All right, next one is, do you need to be technical? We've kind of covered that already. We've got examples here of people who are not technical, Shaz. Emil, myself, I'm like a middle of the road guy who's taught himself to, and Akil, not technical at all. So obviously proof that you can do it on either side of the spectrum there. So is AI saturated? I think this is a good question. Not oil and gas though. Oil and gas. Oil and gas isn't saturated. Yeah, it's a good conversation to have. And this is something immediately any online business space. It's just, I mean, the drop shipping, the SMA, depends how you define saturation. Some people say like if there's always room to be the best in the market, you can go into SMA right now, which is about as saturated as a business model can get. and still going to be the best and deliver best service and outcompete. They say it's not actually that hard to be better than the majority of people and service providers in the market. So I think that is a frame for the saturation question is key, where regardless, if you come into the AI space or whatever business model and you're actually the best and you do a better service or provide better products, there's always going to be room for the best. But that's considering there being thousands of players in the market already. And in this case, like this room here is about as big as some of these businesses are getting at the moment in the AI agency space. Seeing as we're all kind of leading the charge. And you may look at this couch and be like, oh, it's too late. Damn, I missed it. But yeah, these guys are already running the game. But no, even if we were all targeting, hypothetically, if we were all targeting the same group of people or same market with AI solutions, I think you've got enough countries around the world to be able to dominate each one yourself. Or like, there's so many businesses that are going to need this stuff eventually. And it's like, we use the example of websites and apps and social media marketing. Basically, every business is going to need some kind of integration of this stuff. So, my opinion, I'm open to contrarian opinions, Mark, but that we are in a space now where we're all so early, and we've got years before the stuff actually becomes mature and we see any kind of saturation. And you guys all know that the number of quality service providers as AI agencies right now is so low because it is still quite difficult to do things right sometimes. So, anyone else got thoughts on saturation?
Oh, that's coming on it. Like the majority of Americans don't know they haven't used ChatGPT yet. Like the majority of Americans, and Americans are usually like at the head of the curve. So when you look at a world scale, like we're just at the beginning. That's how I look at it.
I'd like to say something for the marketing solutions, because even if you're in one specific market, you have different tools, right? So one is a specialist for this tool, the other one is a specialist for this tool. So even being in the same market, you still have so many different kind of ways and nuances of going in a specific direction.
Yeah, for sure. You could hit this niche, but I do the voice solutions for this niche, and this niche is the same niche that you were doing the voice solutions in. I can then do the CRM integrations and automations like that. You can slice it so many different ways, because I think the most interesting thing to me about the AI space and as an online business model, the AAA model, is with things like SMMA, you had a pretty clear offer on and this is what makes it more difficult, as I'm sure we've all found, and many of you watching this as well. What makes it more difficult, but also more exciting and a far bigger market than something like social media marketing, is that there's not one offer. For this SMMA, it was, okay, you go sell, you pay paid traffic, you do Facebook ads, Meta ads, and you do maybe Google ads as well. And that was the offer. Like, we will get you more customers with this. And with us, you have to find that offer if you're looking to niche down or be it do a product or service and stuff. So it makes it more difficult, but it also makes it far more difficult to become saturated, because there's so many micro offers in one niche. It's not just I do marketing for roofing companies. It's, okay, I do voice solutions for this, and I also do and then my friend over here does automation solutions for this. So there's so much, it's harder to be saturated when there's just so many different ways you can cut just one niche. So,
I had something on that. It's like, you said like how SMMA is just one offer. That's actually a really good point, because
I mean, they'll try to complicate it and say, oh no, but it's different. You're still saying I use social media marketing to get you more clients.
Yeah, same thing. Like, we're actually like, AI is just a tool that we use to solve a problem. Yeah. So it's like, there's this concept of like selling vitamins versus painkillers, and the painkillers is what's solving the problem. We're not selling vitamins. It's literally solving the problem.
I love that.
So it's right there.
Yeah, in terms of saturation, if you break it down to numbers, like in venture capital, there's this concept of total addressable market ahead of time. And so for SMMA, you have to make assumptions. So this business has a marketing budget. It is marketable on social media. Whereas with these AI solutions, your total addressable market is every business owner, because they have parts of their business where they want to save time or generate content or save on admin tasks. That could be an automation play, a content generation play. Every single business has things where they want to save time. So your total addressable market for AI agencies is everybody. And speaking as an agency owner, I get 12 to 13 leads a day. Many in the same industry say, I want to automate X. I can't service all of them. So that's why the TAM, and we're so early, is you could have 100 of these couches of 12 guys, and it'd still not be enough to service the entire market, because everyone could benefit from it, and everyone going to save time from it.
Yeah, on top of that, it is not static. I mean, the advancement of the technology is crazy. Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to have new GPT model, and with that new GPT model, we're going to have more cases, more use cases. So it is not saturated now, and it is going to be larger and larger in terms of use cases.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Like, every time there's a new update, we're going to be able to. So that's also part of what, if you're staying general to some degree, anytime there isn't a big update from something like OpenAI. But I mean, on a micro level, if you are a niche solution provider, you can go back to your old clients and say, hey, okay, here's a like re-up fee to upgrade to the latest model. And I mean, from GPT-4 Turbo to GPT-4o, could be a pretty significant change in your solution there. If they want to save cost, and they're originally using transcription and text to speech and stuff like this, now they can, once they've released it on the APIs, of course, then you can come in and say, I'll rebuild it, make it more efficient, and you can continue to upsell old clients. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good spot to be in.
I think we all agree that this market is not saturated at all. Like I would say, I would say sub 1%, because as Mark already successfully and correctly said, your target audience, basically every business out there. So the main use cases of AI, which comes to mind directly, is higher efficiency, lower cost, higher revenue. And this is simply 3 things every business out there needs. Like literally every business, brick and mortar, online businesses, everyone. And with AI, you can solve all of these 3 problems. You can increase efficiency, decrease cost, or increase revenue, or at least 1 or 2 of these 3 things for every single company. And so I guess if there's millions of companies out there, we will need millions of businesses serving that.
And also pleasure and overall work. I mean, that's also a big one. You just generally don't like to do very mundane tasks. You know, they take hours, this work in AI. I mean, you can free up their time. Not even like from a time-saving perspective and business-wise. That's also, of course, a priority, but just freeing up the time and having like happier employees. That's also a big thing that I think people tend to overlook. That is what AI can do.
I'd actually push further on the saturation thing. People forget there are literally millions of businesses created every year. Like if I was getting started, I mean, this was me like a year ago. You have an advantage where like if companies want to work with businesses like us, that costs thousands of dollars. But new businesses that are just being created, they don't have that budget. And if you're just getting started, you can afford to take on projects for free. And then, like Sardar was saying, get those free projects, get those testimonials, so then you can start justifying your costs and become companies that start charging thousands of dollars for these products. The saturation is not relevant to you because companies that work with us are not necessarily new companies, and there's literally millions of them every single year. So it will, in my opinion, never be saturated.
Yeah, and for me, an interesting thing is that the current state of the market right now, and what a lot of businesses see is these AI solutions. Okay, sure, there's no promising in the world, and we are still early, but right now, if you're having to build things custom for it, it's not, the market is still early in my opinion, because the solutions that you're trying to build, you have to build them fully custom. Like it's almost not worth the effort in some cases where we have to build a full custom system end to end, and we're still waiting for things to appear where it's easier to apply them. And for some businesses, they'll come to us and ask for something to be like $10,000 or more. It doesn't seem like a great ROI in some specific use cases right now, but that's only because you're building it from scratch each time. And as soon as you get a niche solution provider who does that, an example is a student of mine who's done an AI appointment setter for Instagram DMs for coaches. And a coach here in Dubai came to me asking for a similar system. I said, look, I mean, I could build it for you and I could charge you $50,000 to build it because that's how much effort has gone into this thing. Or I could refer you to the guy who's already built it. And we're going to see this, it's going to start making more and more and more sense for business owners as more niche solution providers come up and make that more affordable, right? Because a lot of times, I'm sure you guys have quoted things to business owners and you're like, man, like, to some degree, like, I don't understand if you said no. Like, this is a lot of money, and it's going to be addressing like one specific problem. That's what I'm really excited for, is as these things mature and the use cases appear more, for people to be able to. I mean, it's really bringing the benefit of AI to businesses, and this is kind of what the AAA model is based on, and my vision and what I'm trying to do here is making sure that as much of this AI wealth that's being generated is getting down to people like us, people like you watching, and then also small to medium-sized business owners, because I think that's such a key part of the economy that if they don't get their hands on AI, then they're going to fall behind even further. We're going to get even more wealth inequality, and it's all going to flow to the Microsofts and stuff. So in our own small way, us as agency owners, we get to somehow fight against that and make sure that we get our money, we get some wealth from it, and we all build better lives for our families, and then we start to share it with other people, and us as the middle class of like entrepreneurs can get some of that wealth, and then we also have to distribute it as well. So that's why I'm so big on this model, and I think we're going to play such a key role. And the more people like us we can get, the more that inequality is going to be minimized as well. So, all right, next one is the importance of personal branding and YouTube. So we've obviously all been a product of it. I know I've touched on this before, but I want to specifically bring it down to the AI space specifically, and why you, if you're watching this and looking to share similar success and build a business and have some kind of impact in the world and build a business that I think you guys can all agree is actually cool. Like, I've run a bunch of online businesses, and the stuff that we do at my agency and the stuff we do in my community is actually cool, and it's fulfilling and it's exciting, and I know we're just getting started. But for personal branding in the AI space, I think it's a case of being in a space. When you compare niches, you might look at the marketing niche and the AI niche. A simple comparison: if you were to start a personal brand in the marketing niche now, you're going up against people with 10 years, 20 years of experience. There's very little chance you're ever going to be able to get up to that top 1% status of experts. But in the AI space particularly, we are so new, and we're all examples of it, of just get in there and start doing your thing and learning faster than everyone else by actually running the business, by creating content. And you can end up being in that 1% of the experts, and the experts get the lion's share of the money being made in the space. We still have a chance if you start now and get into it, you can. But also onto the luck aspect of it as well, which is in spaces like AI that are booming and are just getting started, there's higher chances of asymmetric returns, and you can, just by being in the space, you are more likely to get lucky, as silly as that sounds, but just by being active and being industrious and doing shit and actually being part of something, you have much higher chance of getting that lucky thing. And us, by making these videos, is an example of that. Every time you post a bit of content, whether it's short form or long form, you are throwing a couple coins in the well, really. Like, I'm hoping to get lucky with this and increasing the chance that you do by the person finding you or the video taking off. And in this space particularly, it's so much different to everything else at the moment, because you get lucky and you make a ludicrous amount of money if you do it right. So anyone else got anything on luck and I guess your personal experiences of it?
The best, most concrete example of the benefits of personal branding is this group right here. The reason why we all got together is because of our personal brands. If none of us had started posting content, we wouldn't be in this room right now. And when you are in these rooms, those conversations that happen, the amount of value that I got simply from being here, listening to all these people talk, of people who are doing the same thing as you, it makes unlocks in your mind that you didn't even know were possible. So if this is not a good example of a good reason to start personal branding, I don't know what is.
I want to say, I feel like I heard this somewhere on the internet, and it's like creating content is kind of like buying a piece of real estate. And, especially as this space grows more and more, we're solidifying our spot in that piece of real estate. And as the market grows, the value of our property is only going to grow. And it's kind of like I think it's called the rising tide theory or something, where it's like you place your boat in the water as the tide or the water goes up, your boat goes up with it. And so it's just like establishing yourself. And like Taha said, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for content. I mean, it's opened up so many doors, and just the conversations I've had have opened my eyes to, what's possible, and like not even in business sense, but just like getting to know people on a personal level. And that wouldn't have happened if it's not for content. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer to start.
Without peer pressure either.
That's true.
Yeah, well, for context, Brock wasn't going to come along. I don't know if it was financial constraints or he was making up some stupid excuse, and Akil
Simply called him pussy.
nudged him. Yeah, so he nudged him, and a bunch of other guys ended up coming as well. But without the personal brands of each of these people and myself, we couldn't have got here, and also with a bit of peer pressure as well. But Bodhi or something.
Yeah, also another point. I mean, you can learn Python, you can learn how to build all the chatbots, voice bots, whatsoever, but you need to be known as an expert. You need to be known that you can build it, that you can provide that solution, because nobody would know that you are the person who can solve their problem. And that's the huge leverage that any kind of YouTube or blog or podcast can provide to you. So definitely start doing it. And I wouldn't say that you need a large audience, that you need to make it big. Like some of us have only a couple thousand of subscribers, and we are still noticeable. So I wouldn't be here even with my small tiny channel of a few thousand subscribers. I got noticed and invited. I'm super grateful, and that's thanks to my YouTube channel. So it's very valuable. Don't underestimate it.
One thing to keep in mind. One thing to keep in mind too is you literally just started making AI agency content.
Absolutely.
Like recently, and so that shows like it's when it comes to the content, it's not saturated because you just started, and now you're in a position to where your channel's doing extremely well, and you have the momentum, and it's just like triple or double downing on that momentum, which you have right now. So you're kind of like a perfect example.
Absolutely, it's not too late. You can start now, and you can gain traction for sure. Just try it and do it.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's really important to know what you're optimizing for. So Liam is a behemoth in the space, but that's what you get when you're a pioneer and you break ground where it hasn't been broken before, which is what we've all kind of built on top of, which is your model and the way you kind of conceptualize building this. Not like you shouldn't strive to get 200,000 plus subscribers. The goal is I'm going to prove and show everything I've been building in my journey. So when someone asks me, can you really do this? I just give them a link on my YouTube. Go watch. I walk step by step how I build it for other clients, and that becomes collateral for you. If you get views and subs as a byproduct of that, amazing. But the goal is not the subs, because your goal is not to be a YouTuber. It's to build a strong agency. If you have collateral and you show that you are who you say you are, that's way more important than the views, the subs, and all the vanity metrics that a standard YouTuber would care about. So just some food for thought there.
A lot of people watching are also going to have the objection, I can't speak English so well. And that's just another way to cope with it. Like, you can do content in your own language, your own country, and then just take over that market, because we're all doing English content. You can do German, you can do Indian. It doesn't even matter. Whatever country you're from, you can make content in that country or whatever language you're best in.
I keep telling the guys, just follow the blueprint that I put. I've even had guys in my free community and stuff who come up and say like, oh, I'm doing the exact same as you did, but in like South America or in Brazil or something, or in the Portuguese language sphere. The blueprint is there. Like I 200,000 subscribers or whatever I've got now is it's overkill if you just want to start making a bit of money in the AI space. You literally need a few hundred views per video. I mean, Giannis, for some of those Vappy videos you do, it'll get like 500-600 views, but you're still getting a ton of leads off it, and it's more than enough. And you don't have to put in ridiculous amounts of effort. Well, I mean, you did on that big long video, and that's performed like ridiculously for you. But you can just make quick videos that are helpful to a certain audience, and that can get you in rooms like this and show that you know what you're doing. It's I mean, you can probably talk on that and the amount of effort you put into those videos, but still get massive returns from it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when we talk about templates, for example, right? If we created something for a customer, I can literally just use it and make a video about it. And it's like this because we built it already. So we have it there. I can explain what it exactly does and share it with our people for free.
And that's one of those feedback loops you can get where it's like, okay, the first couple, I need to learn how to make this stuff in the first place. Like you said, you spent a month or two about a month, like really focusing on Vappy and saying, okay, I want to learn this stuff. I'll make some things with it. And then you're able to put like an hour-long guide together, and from there you've just got a bunch of clients off it. So it doesn't take long. You just need to pick an area and say, okay, look at one of my videos or any of the guys' videos in here, and say, I want to learn how to do these things over the next month. And then once you get to a certain level of understanding and experience with them, you can start to branch out and think beyond just what you've been spoon-fed from a video, and then start to actually add to the collective knowledge and information in the space. And it's people are starving for it. There's either agency owners like us who are starving for new information and new use cases and new templates to use, or these business owners who are starving to get ahead in this AI space and implement some of the stuff into their business themselves without having to go to an agency necessarily, or just at least to come up to speed. So there's so much demand for good content. And I think Bo's an example of, I saw his videos and I was like, wow, this is really excellent quality. There's some people who jump in and they just don't hit a certain level of quality and professionalism as well about it. So if you're going to do it, don't get analysis paralysis about getting into it, but to some level you need to be. First video will be bad. I took mine down, so you can post it and take it down. That's fine. I was absolutely awful, but you got to start somewhere. But step that up to some sort of level of professionalism that you would be proud of and have pride in your work.
One more small thing. Okay. One small thing I have is like when we all make content, we actually use each other's content. It was really cool because like I tell you, like template from Yana says it was really helpful. Market luck, like I've used stuff from everyone's content, so you shape your own, and you just get better. It's just
no one's getting like pissy about it.
Exactly.
So especially people who are just trying to get started and make money. I say, look, you steal steal exactly what I've put in some of these tutorials, and I'm sure all of these guys feel the same. They put it out there for a reason, for you to get value out of it and try to. There's a very fair value exchange going on. You watch my video, you help me grow my personal brand. I give you free stuff so that you can succeed as well. And just take some of these tutorials and builds and just put them on a LinkedIn post and just say, I built this thing. It doesn't have to, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Just take what's already out there. You can either copy it bar for bar and put it on LinkedIn and say, hey, here's this cool thing I built. Or you can step it up a bit and put a spin on it and say, this is for this particular niche or this is particular use case. and you're now building on top of the collective knowledge as well. So it's not, doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and also don't hold back on prevention.
Yeah, 100%. Do not do that.
Because at the end, you want to tell them the time saving that you can bring them in business, right? So the more information you can get out, they can still do it themselves. But if there's something that they don't know that you know as an expert, they still come to you.
99% of people will not do it, even if you know it. They'll just be like, do it for me.
I think also in terms of your aspirations and what you're working on as well. Like, to be honest, with the stuff that you're doing now with your startup, like you telling us about that then opens up, okay, Simon had a potential connection you can benefit from. So the more people you tell about what you're trying to do, the greater the surface area for you to get lucky, for luck to land on, increases massively just by putting it out there. Like Dave said, put a post out on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm really interested in this stuff. For the past month or so, I've been diving into these platforms, and this is what I'm looking to specialize in now. If you want any questions or want to hop on a call, here's my thing. It's really not rocket science.
No, go for it. I was going to say cross-pollination wise, like case in point, Taha and I were selling a client. We usually build voice agents on this platform called Bland AI. This client had severe security requirements, so we needed to do VAPI, which we've never done. We overdosed 2 hours on Giannis tutorial. We built something. We sold it on a call for almost like 15 grand. And that was only possible because we had months or weeks of learning compressed, and all the mistakes he encountered around the way compressed. We were able to take that, turn it around, and structure an offer, and be confident about it. Because we knew if anything comes worst to worst, Giannis is right there with his hundreds of tutorials. Yeah, I owe you a cut. Yeah. Anyway, just a small microcosm of what happens when you actually create this content and you allow for that cross-pollination.
Yeah, 100%. I also want to add, specifically for YouTube, I think people underestimate a lot that YouTube is the second largest search engine in this world. So we put out YouTube videos just in the beginning, I think 8 months ago or something, about how to automate Instagram DMs. Until this day, we're getting leads from that one video we created back then. So as Brock already correctly said, it's an asset, and piece by piece, you need to build your portfolio of videos, especially on YouTube. And someday, in a year, in 3 years, someone's going to find that video and going to say, hey, I need this guy to build this for me. And then you make it easy for them to contact you, obviously, with the description, with your channel. And you would be surprised how many leads will just come at you.
Yeah. And to sort of double down on that, you got to recognize when you zoom out, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these social media platforms are billion-dollar companies that have algorithms that are literally made to match you to someone looking for what you offer. So your ideal client or ideal viewer will find you naturally because that's what the algorithm is built to do. So you'll always find your way, you'll always find your niche. You sort of come up with the best possible content, put your all into it, the quality, the professionalism, like Liam was mentioning, and let the algorithm do its job and find the viewers that you're looking for, because that's literally what it's built to do.
Yeah, it gives you so much too, man. Like just the stuff that we really didn't mention, but it gives you brotherhood, it gives you leverage, it gives you like self-worth. And then like you can expand in so many different directions. And I think that if you don't know what to talk about, just start off talking about what you're learning, because like I feel like that's what we all feel. We're just like, yo, I learned this thing today. And then people that are trying to learn that thing is going to gravitate towards you. And then you've got clients.
Yeah. And the thing is, and if you're not convinced by now, you really should be convinced. To add like more onto that, what I've also personally found, and I think you can relate to this, creating content, putting yourself out there is such a great opportunity for personal growth as well, because you become a better public speaker, a better educator, and this like will translate to all areas of your life, but also of course business-wise. Now when you hop on the sales calls, you are just confident talking to them, you can explain what you do in better terms, etc. And that is also, I think, such a great thing, like putting yourself out there. In the beginning, it's hard, like getting that first video out, but once you get over it, like after you do 3 videos, you don't care anymore, right? Yeah, that's the thing.
Also, a few more things I just want to add very quickly. Something we have on our whiteboard in the company, just on the top, content is revenue. That's first thing. Always remember that. I think we all agree. Content is revenue. The second thing is, if you try and record content and you're like, I don't like it, I don't enjoy the process, trust me, really none of us enjoys the process. It sounds stupid, but none of us likes to be in front of the camera, set everything up and make that video. But we want to get the value out there. And third of all, give all the sauce. I think someone already said it, but don't try to hold back on any secrets or any methods or whatever. People can find it on the internet anyway. And if you found it, trust me, 1,000 other people know about it already. So if you give all the sauce and if you give free value, then people will see you as an expert. And especially then if they book a call and if they're in a sales call, it's a completely different playground than if you're having a call from cold outreach or something, because these people have seen your face, they have seen you talk about that topic, and and you would be surprised that they treat you as a star, even if you just have 1,000 subscribers. They saw you on YouTube and they have the feeling like, oh, nice, it's a privilege to talk to this guy and he is an expert, and they come with this consciousness into the meeting that your product is already half sold.
Yeah, I would say on the enjoying the filming, specifically the filming is the least enjoyable part of the YouTuber's job or career or tasks or workflow. But you should still enjoy the researching and the preparation, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to have any kind of longevity. That's still the part that I enjoy, which is going out there and synthesizing the ideas that the things that I've learned and things from guys like this and people in my community, taking that and synthesizing it into, that's part of your value as a content creator, is that you can take big ideas. And that's why you see some of the biggest videos on my channel are 1, 2, 3 hour long videos where I've taken all this information that I've learned or I've through my experiences, and I've been able to sequence it, and I'll write it down in a notebook, all the different sections that I think I want to put in the video, and then I'll chop it all into pieces, and then I'll put in a big column and just move those pieces around until it makes sense. I'll add new things in. That is your job and the value you create as a content creator, is being able to, okay, if a beginner wanted to do this, how could I sequence things to gradually build on top of that knowledge? So that research process and the creation there should be enjoyable. But the filming itself is tough. It is tough. And I also want to mention something that I talk about quite a lot on my channel, which is the difference between these AI spectators and AI, like actually people are participants, the spectators and participants in the market. And if you are looking to, going back to our first question of how can you get into the space, you need to start participating. Stop spectating. I've been going at AI news channels recently, because if you look at the views on it, it's consistently hundreds of thousands of people tuning in to watch these AI news videos, and they're getting nothing. I bet that 99% of them are in the same position they were 1 year ago. They're still just as anxious about AI. They haven't done anything to move themselves forward or to start tapping into some of the wealth that's being created. So you need to think, how can I become a participant, and rather than being a spectator? And the easiest way, if you want to take that first step, is to start creating content. Every time you post a video, you're pushing yourself one step further away from this pool of spectators and one step towards guys like us who are participants and actually making money and succeeding in the space. So whether it's making videos consistently and just saying, I'm going to continually step away from this crowd of spectators and get further and further towards some kind, I don't even know where I'm going, but at least I'm doing something. And instead of consuming, I'm creating and putting something out there. And then when you get to signing clients, you're actually learning so much more, and those are big jumps. So just the little steps of making content. Okay, now I get a client, I make money, I learn a bunch more. That the stuff that you learn from a client project is so hard to obtain for any spectator. We try to give it away on our channels and explain, okay, this is what I've learned from these clients, but there's no substitute for it. So the easiest way I could say is just try to, if you're trying to succeed and get into this thing, make sure that everything you're doing in the AI space is moving you towards being a participant rather than a spectator. So that's my rant.
One point off of that, actually, I think to bounce off what you just said, I've spoken to a lot of people and they have imposter syndrome. Like, look, I want to start participating. I want to make content, but I don't know if I'm qualified. You don't have to deal with that. Literally every single person here has templates that have been made, like Liam said earlier. Literally just take any of the templates, tweak them to a specific niche, to a specific industry, right? I made a bunch of videos about roofing. Take those videos, make them for dentistry, make them for lawyers. And you know they work. Just use that so you don't have to deal with, oh, is it good enough? And just make them for a different niche. And now you've started making content. And there you go. Like you've dealt with the whole imposter syndrome. Plus, I heard somebody say this the other day. He's like, do you envision yourself in your life ever making content ever? And the answer to that question is yes. Well, wouldn't you want to start as early as possible to get those reps in, to be as good as possible, as early as possible?
And for some people, like I swore when I was younger, I remember distinctly thinking it, I will never be on YouTube. I'll never be a content creator. Because I remember seeing guys back when the YouTube algorithm was not as good as it is now at finding good creators and upcoming creators and getting, you guys must be seeing on your feed all the time, it's like 600 views. I'm always getting recommended these little videos because the algorithm is really trying to find these smaller creators and give them a chance. So you have it's not the same YouTube it was a few years ago, and that's when I made that decision to, like, I'm not never doing this thing because you can post on it for 5 years and still get 10 views. That's for a person, if you got that now, you're definitely in like the 0.01% of unlucky creators, or not just bad creators, really. If you've been creating for 5 years and you haven't gone, my videos aren't getting any views, I need to change something, and treating it like an experiment and trying to make better videos, then you probably deserve to get 0 views after 5 years. But if you put in work and you try to become a participant and learn stuff that again, it's kind of like the knowledge pyramid where everyone can access this AI news stuff on the bottom, make AI news videos. Then the next tier up is people who are running AI businesses and they have business insights. And next tier above that might be they're running some kind of networking thing like this where you're now pulling things in. So you need to think how you can move yourself up that knowledge pyramid so that you can have value that you can give out on your channel that very few other people can get access to. And that's only done by actually doing the
one more thing is like, so this was a big problem of mine. I think all us starting Mark and then it was all of us. Just getting in front of the camera is so nerve-wracking the first time. But after that first hump, it just becomes so much easier. You have a process, and even a kid, he has so many good ways to like make these some content and then have these workflows. But the first time is the hardest part.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I think that if you have imposter syndrome, like you just have to remember there's always someone a step behind you. Like, so there's always someone that's behind you no matter what. They don't even know what AI is. They don't even know what a chatbot is. So you can just talk about the basics and break down the basics and simplify it, because a lot of times when it comes to AI's technology, so it's a coder maybe talking about it or somebody that's more techie, right? But if you just simplify what you're learning to someone else and you make it so they can digest it, there you go.
At the end of the day. Yeah. What's that thing at the Catch Me If You Can guy? And it's like, how are you in the movie where he's managed to be a doctor or he's lecturing at a university, and at the end of the they caught him and said, how are you lecturing in how are you teaching these students? You know, I just read the chapter I just read one chapter ahead and went in and told them the chapter. They thought that I was like, all you need to be is one chapter ahead of people in the space, and like you might not even need to learn anything to get up to from rung one. You might know enough right now, like Akil said, which is just teaching them the basics, and then from there you just learn. And again, it's just steps and then leaps as you get further down the line.
Part about content creation is pushing that publish button.
Yeah.
Because you'll realize once you press that, nothing actually happens. You think, oh, like this is going to be like the world's going to change. But in reality, people are going to see that. Even if your friends say like, okay, he's making content, they'll think about it for 2 seconds and then never think about it again. And even they don't support you. If you're that worried about your friends or your family caring that much and like it having a negative impact, those aren't good people in your life. So the majority of people won't care, and ones that do care negatively aren't good for you in general. So go for it. I've never regretted it.
Have to keep in mind, nobody cares. Like, if you think, I can't make my friends watch my videos. I literally can't make them watch them. So it's not like they will check it out all the time and they will think something about you. No, they won't watch it.
So if you don't start making content after this, I know we've talked about all these different ways that content has like helped us out, but you should have seen how many girls were on the boat with us yesterday because they watched the YouTube videos. So yeah, now I need to start making content.
0.
That
was 0. Yeah.
I would also say if you didn't start creating content yet, today is the best time, because YouTube, in my opinion, got easier than it ever was. Like when you check YouTube or when you try to Google how to rank on Google, how to get viral, all of these things. In the past, there were thousands of tricks and things you need to take care of and which word and whatever. Today, the answer is pretty simple. Just provide value. I mean, have a good hook in the beginning, tell viewers why they should view your content. And in the end, it's just provide as much value as you can. And the point is, you will never provide maximum value or have a perfect video with your first video, not even with the first 10. The first 10 videos is just to get less shitty. That's how I think about it. So you have to get in the reps and just get better. Just get better by 1% for each video. And with the time, you will have a whole portfolio and a whole asset of videos, and you will see what works better, what works not so good. And then you can improve from there. But actually, the whole magic around how to go viral on YouTube, it's not luck or anything else. I mean, there is a little luck incentive, I think, everywhere in anything in life. But in the end, it's really just provide value. Imagine yourself sitting in front of the TV or computer and you want to find something out because you have a question on YouTube and you want to see exactly the solution to whatever you're searching for right now. And you can be the guy who gives that sauce so people watch your face and watch you talk. And this value will spread on its own. That's how the algorithms these days just work. Just create good content. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to note on content strategy that we haven't really spoken about is the average YouTuber has to go through this process of saying, okay, I'm going to make a day in the life video, and then I'm going to do this video about my family, and then I have to come up with more and more ways to drive engagement. With this AI niche, it's a bit of a hack because you have an infinite content strategy. as new things come out, as new tools come out, you just take that tool. Okay, cool. How can I make use of this? How can I derive value from it?
Some cool take on this, like cool application or cool use of this new thing. That's
Exactly. So the hack is like take the AI tools, whatever tool was mentioned, well, of the 15, take one of them that actually matters, try and use it, try and build something of value from it. There's your content. So your next strategy for the next 10 months is already made for you, because this is the only space in the world right now that's moving so quickly and so many things that are coming out. Your content makes itself. You just have to find a way to marry that tool or that new framework or that new API with this use case, or make an existing use case even better, and your content's there. So like you already have that taken care of, which is a big load.
To bounce off what you just said, Mark, a lot of people might say, oh, well, what if as people are going to steal my stuff, or I'm going to put all this effort in, they're going to steal all of it. Reality is 90% of people won't care, right? They'll watch it, they'll never do anything with it. But even the other 10%, those people that are going to rebuild it were never your customers to begin with. They never would have bought from you. So you're not losing any customers by making videos. You're actually losing a lot, because people that do want to buy from you watch the video, be like, oh yeah, this guy actually knows what he talks about, but I don't want to deal with this problem or deal with actually developing this. Let me go talk to him so they can build it for me. Those are your ideal customers. Other people are going to rebuild it, and other people are just watching it to watch it.
All right, I want to have last two questions, last two topics. One that you guys are probably going to be pretty happy about is hiring and talent, which is all we've talked about for the past 2 days. There is the limiting factor in many, well, basically all of our businesses and yours too, as you start one of these businesses, is talent. It's finding the right people, and it's just the limit to scale in basically every situation we've heard here over the last couple of days. So this is firstly a call out. If you're watching this and you have some skills and you think you could provide value or join some of the teams here, then we'll leave all the YouTube links down below, excuse me, so that you can get in touch with us. There's various roles we're hiring for, but if you're a talented, smart person and you want to be involved in one of these businesses, whether it's coming on, learning from us and being part of the team and building something awesome with us, that's what we're all open for. But smart people are needed in the space, and we are in a talent drought in the space. It's really hard to find good people, and it can make a massive difference for all our businesses. So if you want to join the team, there'll be links down below. But yeah, I wanted more broadly open that up to the hiring question itself, and strategies you guys have used or struggles you've had, or specific areas of talent that you find are hardest to get.
Personal branding. Actually, that's how I built my teams. It's crazy because like when you make these videos, you attract talent, and they're going to be motivated to do what you're doing. So this is perfect.
It's alignment as well, right?
Yes, alignment. They're skilled, and they were going to work with you, and then they know you. So just so easy. It's just a good channel. They'll literally work for free.
Our best teammates right now started with, hey, can I work for free?
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're earning good money on a monthly basis working with us. And those are actually the best talents.
Yeah. A huge lesson I learned when I started, because I got burned a few times by bad developers, is don't be cheap. I think everyone goes into this mindset like, oh, I'm going to charge $2,000. I'm going to pay the dev $100. I'm going to net $1,900. Like, it's a win. With that $100 person that you're hiring, it's lack of communication, lack of skill, all of that thing. So even to this day, the developers that I work with in my team, they take a pretty healthy cut of what I charge, which is totally okay with me because the communication is great. They actually could build and promise what they say they can. And they're very competent and good at handling problems. So, don't be too greedy up front is what I'm trying to say here. Find a good dev, have a good relationship with them, and don't be cheap when it comes out to splitting money, because it's all about getting those first few people in the door and then sort of building your team and increasing margins from there.
Yeah, I think to some degree you need the absolute smartest person possible for the best price. That's like really what you're going for. and someone who's good at dealing with clients, and ideally also adding on to that is someone who allows you to buy back as much of your time as possible. So by going cheap, you costing yourself more in the time that you have to keep stepping back in to manage these things. So when you're trying to hire, you need to be getting the really good value trade-off of, is this person really smart, but are they also going to save me a lot of time? And I think Dave's got an interesting take on that as well.
Yeah, sure. So I'm also still trying to figure this whole hiring thing out and how I currently approach it. So there are a couple of ways. So also here, don't underestimate your own network. Look around you, people maybe friends from high school that you can connect with. Just send them a LinkedIn message, because those are people that you already know on kind of like a personal level. I think that's a great place to start. One great tip that I got from Giannis is Upwork. Upwork is a really great source to find really talented people. So that's also what we use currently, and also the community thing. So building your own communities. You can even set up a free Discord group or a free school group, tie that into your YouTube channel or LinkedIn profile, for example, where you create content. Those are really great things. Quite a funny story. So I think 6 weeks ago, something like that, we had a small meetup in Amsterdam, where I'm from. Some of you flew out there, and I had a talk with Jonas, and he was talking about how he's now building up a new like software as a service product. And we were talking about, okay, how do you manage this? Where do you find the developers? And he mentioned, hey, I actually get them through Upwork. And you know what? If you're looking for a Python developer, here's actually someone that I work with. I can highly recommend him. So I went through the Upwork route, but also personally invited that particular developer through the Upwork platform. I let them all do a case study, and I ended up going with the one you pointed out to me. So I think that's also very valuable of having a group, like, yeah, being able to bounce those hands off whenever there's someone that you know that's available right now, and take them on.
Yeah, because we all had so specific use cases that were different languages, right? One needs Python, the other one needs React, the other one was a completely custom solution. And then once the project is finished, what we do, we know those developers, we hired them, they did a really amazing job. So why not distributing them between each other? I think this is a big thing.
I think interesting one, going back to what I was saying about buying back your time. When it comes to, say, you've got your content responsibilities and some degree marketing the agency, as we do, I want to hear your thoughts generally as on cutting people in on things and giving like a really smart person access. Okay, maybe it's the CTO you bring in and say, okay, of the solutions company, of the actual agency that we're running, we're going to give you a revenue share of these things so that you can, like, that's how you can get the smartest and most talented person involved with like really good incentives like that. And so how can you bring someone in there and say, some people would want to have them on a good salary, but I think having that ownership and say, like, this is your problem, this is your area of the business. And I think that's what you've done with your solution company as well. Is like, okay, I need to have my time freed up to work on things that are going to move the business forward as a whole. But bringing in that partner rather than just having an employee or a contractor is really key. Has anyone tried doing the rev share model?
Yeah, we're currently trying to implement that in our sales team. I think this is where it makes most sense, obviously, and where it's super obvious. If you do more sales, you will earn more money. It's as simple as that. Salespeople usually love that. I love to work on a performance basis. I mean, as a business owner, we all do by nature anyway. But yeah, I would say from the sales department, it absolutely makes sense. Tied to the revenue, tied to the profit, tied to an MRR, whatever the number might be, and show your employees or partners or teammates that if they do more, they earn more. And this way, this incentivizes, like, it's an extrinsic incentive, but that's actually why all of them are working. They want to earn money, and if they see they do more and get more, then obviously that would motivate them to become better every day in what they do in your company.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. Because it's not just about doing more. I'm going to steal something from Alex Hormozy, which is the very high levels or the high-ranking people for a role know how to take a very vague requirement, and they know exactly how to operationalize it. So we want to use it in the AI sphere. So you build a chatbot for someone, they write a question, and the answer is not exactly how they want it to sound. It's not their brand voice. A normal developer, you have to say, okay, I think we should check our vector database, see what the knowledge base looks like. We should look at the files in the knowledge base to see, do we have the right examples to teach the AI? We should probably look at our system prompt and see kind of what that looks like. Maybe our temperature is a bit too high. So also check the additional prompt you put together. A great developer, a superstar, where like it makes real sense to give that profit share is, I say, I don't think they like the way it sounds, and they know all the subtasks immediately without me having to say, break it all down, did you check this, did you check this? So
that's my point there. It's like you're buying back your time by, if you can find that really high talent and say, look, I don't necessarily have the money to pay you thousands of dollars a month in salary, just flat, but on the projects that do come through, we will give you the cut that you deserve. And like Charles was saying, not being greedy on those projects, but the amount of peace of mind you get when it's like, I know that they are handling that side and I can actually focus on my side of the business is huge. So it's difficult. The first hire is so key. And I've just filmed a video a few days ago on how important. I think that's a key hurdle for people starting these businesses, that they start, they hop on the calls, they might be their first free client or two, but they never find that key person that's going to be their first developer, or whether it's the technical partner that they bring on. We are building software at the end of the day. So having that person where you can continue to focus on growing the business, running the sales and operations, or doing content as you probably should, you need to have someone who you can pass that the role to and delegate that responsibility of delivering high quality outcomes for your clients.
Yeah, you know your strengths, you know. So just look at what your strengths are, and you know your weaknesses also. So when you see someone that has those strengths at your weak points, like for example, I'm a very creative person, but like Giannis over here is super technical. Like he fills in my weakness. So just look for people that blow your mind with how amazing they are at doing the thing that you may lack at.
And you also got to have some level of humility as well, because some people suck at things, but they don't even realize they suck at things and they think they're good at things. So you have to be self-aware enough to go, this is not my thing. Like you're great. You say, technical stuff, it's not me. I know what I'm good at, and I will just hire the people that I need. So you do need to be self-aware enough, and not, I mean, that is the saddest examples that I see of people who have so much potential, but they're just slightly too arrogant, or they believe in themselves too strongly in the ways they shouldn't, and they're just going like full speed in the wrong direction. It's kind of funny to see, but yeah, you got to be self-aware to know your weaknesses and compensate for that with your team.
And for those cases, I would say it's perfect to have a community or a network like we are right now, because we can call each other out. And if you don't have people like that around yourself, then you should change your environment.
And you got to let people know as well. Like this has been great for us all, because we've got to understand each other a lot more deeply, and then say, okay, well, I know that that's a limitation for him. That's why I made us put what are the challenges that you're facing that are going to stop you from achieving what you want to do. Because by getting it out there, and there's actually a psychological thing when you come to a person and say, hey, I need your help. There's a reaction that they have where they feel compelled, like that, because you're telling someone that they're wanted and that they're needed, and we like to feel needed and wanted. And so when you come to, by being vulnerable as the person leading the business, saying, hey man, I really need your help on this, boom, you see this attitude, and instead of, you think you're going to be a burden, but you see time and time again, it's like, wow, the CEO of this business is coming down and he's saying that he needs me. Hell yeah, that's cool. I'm going to now do everything I can to make it work. So being vulnerable and saying like, I need your help for this and I can't do it without you is something that I've had a lot of success with in my own company. So I think Brock had something down there.
No, I was just gonna say there's a great book called Who Not How. You know, if there's something that you don't know how to do, or you just aren't capable, it's like just finding the who to do it. And you know, obviously that's just a big point of leverage. So I just want to throw that out there. That's a great book. Who Not How.
Yeah, I just want to add on that. So me personally, I'm lucky enough because my technical partner, he's one of my best friends, and we've been working together like for the past 4 years on various projects. But if I was looking for a developer, I'd like them to be as engaged as possible. And the best way to make them engaged is to offer some kind of ownership, because when you own a piece of that company or project or agency, then you'd work over hours and you'd be, engaged to the max. And that's the biggest advice, to make that person your partner, if that's the first one, if that's the first developer. And then you can hire like more people, and that partner would take care of hiring developers, because if you're not technical, you wouldn't be able to qualify them properly. So that's a big asset as well.
Yeah, I like that. Like ownership obviously is like the ultimate. We'd want to get them eventually if they're really good. And then you've got just wages, and then you've got salary, and then you've got rev share and profit share in the middle. That's why I kind of like the rev profit share zone. It's like, okay, I'm not just going to be, you do get compensated for, like you're getting a cut of the revenue that's coming into the business. And then obviously ownership, if you can get them down there eventually, but it's a big jump to take on. As soon as you sign that thing to give them those shares, it's a big deal. So
it's also really hard to scale. So if you have 50 employees, it's really hard to give everyone 1% equity share, white paper, changing documents, telling all the banks, and yada yada yada. So the performance or profit share based model, in my opinion, works really great to scale. And you can do it on an individual basis, or you can do it on a team basis. And what I know from myself and from other companies, from other business owners I know, is that the department-based performance model works best, because then everyone starts working better as a team. Because if he's slacking on his part, I will get less money. So I'm motivated to motivate him to work more, and other way around. So think about that if you never implemented that.
Yeah, incentives is such a massive one, like a well-placed incentive. I think there's the example of, I think it was in Good to Great. There's some airline in the States that was absolutely terrible. Or it might have been FedEx or the overnight shipping company in the States. I don't know, it's one of the FedEx. And that they were struggling to get all these orders shipped and sent out like they do it overnight, right? So all they come in, they got to put it all on the planes and then ship it out, and they would never get it done by the time the shift was done. And like that was stopping them having the delivery windows they were supposed to have as a company, and that was their whole thing. And then they just shifted the incentive from you get paid per hour, you get paid per shift, to you get paid for a completed delivery. Like you get maybe it's even a bonus for when they get paid per shift and per complete loading. So as soon as it was complete, they would incentivize to get it done as fast as possible. And all of a sudden, those things were packed and the planes were gone like before the end of the shift. Because they were incentivized to like, okay, I get paid the same amount regardless. I may as well just do this as fast as possible so I can go home and sleep. So when they just moved the incentive, it just fixed the business overnight. So powerful if you can do it.
Also how DHL still works till this day. So if they have to pick up a package somewhere, the DHL driver who has to actually move that package and put it into the van and drive it around gets a few cents per package. So he's even asking like, do you have more packages I can take with me? So this totally changed this.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think unless you guys have got anything urgent.
We need more talents.
Yeah. Again, as we wrap this thing up, down below, you can find all of our different socials and get in touch with us through our various channels if you want to come join the team. But aside from that, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this has been an interesting take on the AI automation agency space, and get to see all these guys in person. And it's awesome to have what would have been competitors now here as friends and brothers, and all building something together. So hope this has been valuable, and we might see you in the next one.